Welcome to Weekly MTG. I'm your host, Blake Rasmussen, and we have a fantastic show for you today because we have a fantastic guest.
Oh, thanks, Blake.
If you've been following along with Edge of Eternities, you may have seen her before, but Sarah, why don't you introduce yourselves to the folks at home real quick?
Hi Blake. Hi, people at home. I am Sarah Wassel. I'm a senior art director here at Magic, and I commissioned a lot of art for this set in the Booster Fun collectability realm, which is what we're gonna.
It's what we're spending the whole show on.
All of it, yes.
All of it. So yeah, we are revealing the rest of the bonus sheet. So we've seen some bonus sheet cards coming out over the past amount of time's construct, but we're going to finish that construct today because we're going to reveal the rest of them on this show. And then we are also going to go through every single special guest card.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we've seen one special guest so far with Sliver Hive Lord. We're going to talk about that one too because the art is super cool. And why bring Sarah on the show if we're not going to talk about art? So we're going to spend the whole time talking about art, but you're going to see a bunch of these cool cards that we are going to talk about. Before we get to that, I also want to highlight that we are nearing the end of preview season. And with the end of preview season comes the beginning of ambassador content. So Magic the Gathering ambassadors are content creators out there in the world making cool, awesome stuff for you to watch. And we have a list on a graphic that shows all the people who are ambassadors for Edge of Eternities. All of these folks are going to be making some fantastic content using these cards and characters and yes, the amazing art to show off this set for you. You can, on your favorite social media network, just search hashtag MTG Ambassador or hashtag MTG Partner, and you will get a lot of these starting this Friday. When the full set is live. All of these folks are going to have some cool stuff, so definitely check them out and see what they have cooked up for you. I know they've all been working on a ton of awesome stuff. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about some Magic cards. Want to do that?
Let's do it.
All right.
I would love to.
So we are going to talk, like I said, about the bonus sheet. So that is going to consist of the lands that have the planetary versions. We're going to talk about that. And then we're also going to talk about the special guests. As you're looking at these and you're wondering, where can I get these amazing looking cards? So the rule of thumb, head to Collecting Edge of Eternities on dailymtg.com. You can just Google Collecting Edge of Eternities. It'll be the top result. Click on it. That is going to be the source of all information. If we say anything on this show that contradicts the article is correct and we are wrong. We're going to try not to do that, but in case we do, the article is correct. General rule of thumb, the bonus sheet can be found in all Edge of Eternities booster products, so play boosters and collector boosters. And then there are foils, Galaxy foil versions of those. The Galaxy foil versions are only found in collector boosters. And then special guests can also be found in play and collector boosters. So just keep all that in mind while we're going through this. We are going to start with the bonus sheet, and we're just going to go card by card. Yes. Sarah's going to tell us how awesome this art is, and you're going to see how awesome it is.
I'm going to tell you what to like.
Yeah, this is good. You should like this. All right. We're going to start off with a card that has seen quite a bit of eternal play across the ages called Grove of the Burn Willows. Yeah, so Sarah, why don't you start off? Tell us about the Stellar Sights treatment and then the poster Stellar Sights treatment. And then we'll dive into this card specifically.
Yeah. So the Stellar Sights treatment, we made this custom frame. We have an amazing illustrator on my team called Dalton. Dalton. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm gonna.
You've already forgotten his name.
No, I know his name. I'm just really bad at pronouncing it, and I'm.
It's okay, Dalton.
Dalton is an incredible illustrator, and maybe someone will put his full name on the bottom of the screen. My heart is breaking. Okay, anyway, but he does so many amazing custom frame illustrations for Magic, and this Stellar Sights frame on the left here that you're seeing, like this is the result of like weeks and weeks and months of like different iterations and different trials, and like us just really trying to like condense the visuals of the set into what amounts to like the tiniest square inches of space on the card, right? And on the sides on this one, it's based on those like transparent star charts that we're really used to seeing in like sci-fi movies these days, right? They're really cool because you can see two characters like at the same time, and it feels kind of like futury and like tech that we don't quite have yet. But weirdly, it's been around in pop culture since like the 40s, like those transparent, like battle plans, which was a surprise to me because I figured it was just like
a new thing,
80s at the oldest, which I'm sure to most people listening is ancient times at this point. But anyway, so then like one of the things we really wanted to do was get rid of anything at the top of the frame, and because we knew they were all going to be land cards, we knew we didn't have to worry about like mana symbols or like power toughness, stuff like that. So it was kind of like a simplified situation.
Made it cleaner.
Yeah, and then we really wanted to like find a fun typeface to use to give extra flavor to it. Of course, it had to be legible, so we went through a bunch of different things to try to make sure it wasn't like too strange looking. And yeah, this is where we landed. And then one of the really important things about the frame and the treatment is that we really wanted to every single card have a little spaceship breaking the frame.
Yeah. Which I love that. You can see that right over the S and burn willows.
Yeah.
And you'll see it on every one of these that we go through.
Every single one of them. And every single piece of art, I think in the collectability space, which is like all the weird treatments, there should be a spaceship in every single one of them. That was like
instead of scale birds, we've moved on to scale spaceships.
We moved on to scale spaceships because we really like, for all the art for the set, the whole studio was like, we really want every single card to visually feel like you are in outer space.
Yeah.
No question. No, like, oh, it could just be some weird environment. Like, we really wanted to push that as much as we could.
Well, it's interesting you say that because I was looking at these and we were talking before the show about how I know nothing about art, but I know what I like, and what I like about these, and you can see this in Grove of the Burn Willows with the ship over the S and the one across the sky on the right, is it almost feels like that little ship is it's you. It's your entry into this massive thing that is beyond comprehension, and this tiny little thing, and it feels like when I think about space, that's sort of the scale I feel, and so having that play on the massive and then the tiny little ship feels very much that way for me.
Nice, that's great. I think just like tiny aside about art in general, like I think experiencing art, the main thing about it is just letting it provoke an emotion. That's all it is. Yeah. And like any emotion it provokes in you, that's it doing its job, right? So there's no right or wrong answers. And one of my favorite things is when I see people online arguing about Magic cards and they're just arguing about the art. Because most of the time when people kind of get into it, it's like mechanics or like, there's a million things they can kind of like get into about it. But when the conversation is just people being like, I love the way this looks, I hate the way this looks. That's beautiful.
That's great.
Because it's subjective mostly, right? Yeah. So it's like, you can't get upset with another person. Yeah. Because you're like, I don't like this, and I'm like, I like this. Great.
Well, and some people, and I love that we've got multiple versions here because some people are going to love the version on the left, some people are going to love the version on the right.
Yeah.
And the special guests when we get to are also going to be very much like it's really going to grab some people and other people are going to bounce on.
Sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this game, right? That there's so many opportunities for art to express the game. Yeah. And there's going to be winners for people, and there's going to be other things for people that are like, this makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it for whatever reason. But that's a great segue also into the poster stellar sites, which are going to be the ones on the right as we go through all of these. So that's a way more graphic treatment. You can see with the frame, like we really like super, super, super minimal. We wanted the frame to be like as little of the image as possible, but still give like a platform to make sure the text is super legible. And we just have the pin line color, like showing you the frame color on the very edge glowing like that. Yeah. So the style of those cards, the art on those cards is based on kind of this like 1930s like vintage travel poster thing, which I think most people at this point are familiar with because it's such a meme-y kind of thing, right? Yeah. Like remember all the cool Star Wars ones that came out like, I don't know, God, like 30 years ago at this point. That was like, what, Tatooine? It looks like a, like a glamour thing. What's even happening? But yeah, so that was like the angle for those. And one of my favorite things about the two treatments together is that because their opposites like reinforce each other. So the one having more flat, more simplified, more minimal, that is going to enhance the painterly complexity of the other, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Right? So they just constantly like bounce off each other in a really I think a really pleasing way, and kind of like, enhance each other's differences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we are gonna. So, quick reminder: chat's been talking about this a little bit, but all of the cards that we're looking at today are not necessarily. I'm saying not necessarily. So a little less, standard legal. So the bonus sheet and the special guests do not affect legality. If they are cards that are already legal in standard, you can play them in standard. If they are cards that are not already legal in standard, you cannot play them in standard. But any of them that you open in a draft, you play it in a draft, and that kind of makes the drafts a bit more fun. All right, let's move on to our next bonus sheet card. Let's take a look at Cathedral of War.
Such a great name for a card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Stellar Sights version, this is a cool moment in the set because like we're able to show how you can see kind of in the background the black hole. So Thera is like affecting the gravity of this planetary body and making it like stretching it out.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I look at this, I imagine that moon or that planet like lives in a perpetual state of like being slowly stretched. It's like such an interesting thing to imagine happening. And then the poster version, the idea here is that this ship is flying through like an abandoned like Temple of War. And like all of these ships are kind of like defunct and just kind of like this ship is exploring this planet, and this is all...
Oh, and finding this abandoned...
Yeah, this is like a ruin.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. So it's just like empty and dusty, and like what civilization made this? What was it for? A lot of good storytelling in that image.
Very cool.
Yeah.
We do, and I'm hoping we can get the camera tight on me. We'll see. So we have for this card the first Galaxy foils here. Let me see if I can get some of that shine in there. Maybe not. There
Ooh, I
you
can
go.
see
A
it.
little sparkle.
Ooh, there it is.
Sparkle. So the Galaxy foil is going to be very similar to the Galaxy foils that's a little better maybe if I don't cut my hands around it. And we have both versions of Cathedral War here. Yeah.
Tilting it. Yeah, there you go.
A little bit.
Oh, too much.
I could. I'm mic'd in. Otherwise, I would just like walk up to the camera. Anyway, so the Galaxy foils look really cool. The Galaxy foils are again. Are we gonna adjust it manually? Producer Sean just walked in the room. That's what is happening here. There we go.
Look at
A
that.
little sparkle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I love the way it looks on this one too.
We have the most incredible digital artists in studio that make...
Oh, there we go. That catches it.
That prep the art for this stuff.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Very cool. Thank you, Producer Sean. All right. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Let's take a look at Mirrorpool.
Super fun one. So both of these have this idea that there is like a world floating in space that's just a vast ocean, like free floating, which is pretty interesting visual. It's a little more subtle on the poster version because you're really just kind of getting the perfect reflection in the water, in the whatever that ocean surface is. This is Anne-Sophie Destur on the right. She started working for us with Streets of New Capenna, right? Because there's like like I was saying, this came from the 30s, kind of the art style. So there's like a lot of connection to like Art Deco, which Streets of New Capenna was like Art Deco demon mobsters.
Yep. Well, and that's a good question. How much, since you had a very specific look you were going for, especially on the poster Stellar Sights, and later the special guests, which we'll talk about too. How much did you go out and find artists we haven't worked with before who have that aesthetic to represent these?
Well, honestly, with these, I don't know that we signed up any new artists for the poster treatment because we had the new Capenna artists that we had worked with previously. And then we have like a kind of small number of artists that we work with that have an incredible ability to do multiple art styles. Like a lot of artists kind of are really good at a specific kind of look, and that takes years of, craft and hard work and dedication. And then other people kind of jump around a little bit and are able to kind of mimic other art movements and art styles. And so we're lucky that we've got a couple of those in the pocket, and you'll see some of their pieces throughout this set that like they can do this and they can do other things too, which is kind of mind-blowing to me that like it's hard enough to do any of it. Let alone be able to go graphic and to go like painterly. Such different approaches to all of it, to the composition, to the execution. Yeah.
Very cool.
It's pretty remarkable. Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to move on to a cycle, and people have been guessing these. A lot of you in chat are going to know exactly what's going on as soon as we show this first one, but we're going to talk about all of them because the art on all of these is stunning. So let's start with Creeping Tar Pit.
Oh man.
Yeah, this is a good one to start on.
It's a really good one to start on. Yeah. So, Creeping Tar Pit. So we have like a moon that's flooded with tar. And then like there's monsters in this tar, right? And you can see both how the artists interpreted that. On the left is an artist called Moore, who honestly, he is one of those chameleon artists. He can do this kind of more traditional magic art style, and he's worked on other pieces for us that he can do a really graphic, more kind of like Belgian comic style. He's really talented. And then on the right, Matteo Bassini is an artist that has worked on Edge of Wildspell Drain and worked on Streets of New Capenna, and he also has a really incredible kind of ability to like adapt to what we kind of need from him. And I was just like blown away when he submitted this final art. I love that he made the creature this thing that's kind of dripping in from the top.
Yeah.
It's so kind of ominous and unexpected in the way he did it to frame the monoist ship in the very center, which is interesting because so many of these pieces, the spaceship is like kind of on the periphery. But he made this choice to like put this ship just in the center, and the way it kind of like mirrors a little bit the creature and then like pulls your eye into the middle of the black hole. And then all just the tar dripping upwards is a really...
It's unsettling,
cool, so it's like, but it's also beautiful because of the colors that he's used. And I love that both artists use such similar, I mean, it's a black and blue, related land. So like, obviously those are the colors that the artists are going to go for. But I love that their palettes next to each other are really, really similar. Yeah, such a fascinating way that two people approach kind of such a similar assignment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at Hissing Quagmire.
Yeah, such a different vibe from the other two, right?
It's such a different vibe. It's very exploratory, and the one on the left has multiple ships coming in. Love it.
Yeah, the Stellar Sights Hissing Quagmire, I love. John Thacker did a lot of like careful work. These cards in particular, they're kind of creatures, but they're not creatures. And splitting that hair for an artist is a really tricky assignment.
Yeah.
There was a lot of questions back and forth of like, wait, so it is, but it isn't, but it is. And the one on the right, the artist was asked to create this thing that had kind of like an alien.
I'm gonna be honest,
bear.
I just noticed the creature.
Yeah, good. That's really good.
That is very cool. Yeah.
That was exactly the point. And then in the one on the left, the Stellar Sights, you see just that little claw, like up in the top right. And then in the left, as the light curves around the bottom of the planet, you kind of see his face.
Like a mouth and an eye.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this was one too. I remember working on this piece where one of his earlier versions, it was a lot more overt.
Yeah.
and we had to be like, hey, this looks really cool, but like we need to pull it back a little because we wanted. That's what we always hope for is the moment where someone like you who's looking at it and is like, wait a minute, oh, there it is.
I was just like, oh, that's a cool scene on the right, and then I saw the creature and very cool.
Yeah, my favorite thing I think honestly about that one is the shape of the moons. Mm-hmm. They're so weirdly uncircular, but it like mimics the rest of the shapes that he used in the composition. That's William Pfeiffer. He's a really interesting artist that he hasn't done a ton of Magic cards, but he did some really cool ones in Wilds of Eldraine that are worth looking up if you're interested.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the next one, Lavaclaw Reaches.
Oh man. Yeah. These two are so fun. Again, like in the Stellar Sights version, that creature is so like you barely notice that claw on the bottom right in the background, and it's like this just mouthful of teeth.
Yeah.
Going after that tiny, tiny, tiny spaceship. It's so tiny. When you're holding that card, that spaceship is probably like
I think I've got that one.
It's a tiny spaceship.
Let's see if I can pull it up. Yeah, it's pretty tiny, but it's there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, the work of so many people to ensure that when an artist creates something like that, that little ship will be sharp and detailed when that comes off press. It's incredible how many people's work it takes to pull that kind of stuff off. And then the poster one, this is one of my favorites because I feel like that could be a textile pattern.
Yeah.
Like it looks very like Pucci. I mean, I can't help it. The artist Matteo Bassini, he's Italian, so I feel like that piece of the color palette looks very Italian fashion to me. But
yeah, and again, you've got the ship right kind of in the middle again, which took me a sec to find. I do love, and that's kind of my favorite thing about these is you've got this massive scale and then the tiny details, and you can find new things each time you look at them.
It's nice too that it really makes a difference, the shift of the frame elements, right? To give you a little, just that little more space for the art really gives so much more scope for scale.
Yeah.
It's definitely, not something that we would do like every day or all the time, but I think this set in particular, we were the whole studio was so excited about working on this set. And I think you can see that evident in all of the aspects of it. Every aspect of it, there was just so much care because there were so many people like, we knew this was coming. We knew we were finally getting into this science fantasy realm. And there were just so many people like, just like waiting, like, when is it happening? When do I get to start? Like, when do I get to work on this? I think there were like dibs, like months and months in advance of teams of people being like, I get that, right? I get to work on that, right? Like, I can't wait to like make this the coolest thing ever.
All right. Speaking of the coolest thing ever, let's take Lumbering Falls. These are all great. Lumbering Falls is up next.
Yeah.
And this one is definitely a bit of a different vibe than the last couple that we've seen.
Yeah, I think it's the green, right?
It's the sort of cooler color palette. We've been looking at a few more aggressive creatures here.
Also, green has just different energy in the game, right? So it's less of a fiery smash explosion. I love that these two they have such a kind of similar shape, the creature.
Yeah.
And these artists did not see each other's work at all. So this was just kind of their interpretation. The Stellar Sights, he's more like floating in space, and I feel like the poster version, it looks a little closer to maybe some kind of land that's underneath.
Yeah,
but
could be walking, could be floating, could be a bit of both.
It's definitely lumbering, though.
Definitely lumbering, yeah.
Yeah, and I love all the little floating island pieces around the edges and stuff. And Aaron Ng is really, really good with that airbrush texture, those little like surface dots. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, and let's move on to Needle Spires.
Yeah, these both such great creatures. Such great, like, barely there creatures.
Yeah, it does. It takes a sec for your eyes to adjust, especially the one on the right. To figure out, okay, there's the face. Oh, I see spines running,
His little, like, sleepy face kind of a little bit. And the left one also is kind of just remarkable to me that, like, the artist created, that like you can see like flanks and legs and even musculature. It's suggesting musculature of a creature.
Yeah.
And is the head like the curved over like fire in the front, or is it like raised with like a under chin shot? I don't know.
Who can say?
Yeah, and that monoist ship is a really cool one. Those are some of my favorite ship designs in the set because they're not propelled by force pushing them; they're pulled by gravity. That's their magic tech.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know how it works, but
I don't get it. But it works.
yeah,
And it looks cool. Next up, let's take a look at Raging Ravine. So that one on the right might be my favorite piece of art in this set.
Yeah, I think you and producer Sean
Yeah.
share that in common.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Miller, who uses the name BMOX for his art, he did a good couple pieces in the set, and he just nails the like storytelling epic of the art style that we wanted to go. Like there's so many layers of depth in his work, and he just sets it up. It looks like the coolest movie poster.
Yeah.
Like not just one planet, 2 planets. And then all the trees being rounded like the planets. And then the holes in the rock. And like, yeah, I love it. And then Calder Morgan on the left with this really like epic, like I feel like you can hear that planet getting crunched apart.
And then it looks like hands are pulling it apart. And you know, I do love that you've got 2 different options for a vibe here. The one on the right is a bit more serene, and you know the creatures are just kind of looking around, and the one on the left, that one's raging.
Yeah,
that one is definitely raging.
Yeah. So we have the ravine and we have raging. So we kind of, yeah.
All right. Next up, Shambling Vent.
Yeah, this is another like I don't even understand how this is like a creature of nothingness on the left side with just
which fits the black aesthetic in the set.
Yeah, and a lot of that like weird gravity play that happens in the set. And then actually, you know what? I was wrong about signing up new artists. The artist on the right was new and signed up just for this set, Dennis Freitas. And this is a really interesting piece of art. Like seeing it blown up is really doing it justice because of all of the like careful line work that he created in this. It's so stylized.
Yeah, I was gonna say it definitely fits in with all the poster stellar sites, but it's got like a slightly different vibe going for it.
Yeah. We always kind of go back and forth on that. Like if we have an art style we're trying to hit, pieces will come in that feel a little bit of like a riff on the art style.
Yeah.
And honestly, I love those moments. Like I think it's that enhancement of opposites. Like they make the others look even better, and then they look special because they're kind of this interesting take on the situation. I go for rule of cool when it comes to, you're asking for one thing, but then they're like, hey, what about this? And I'm like, it looks rad. I'm down.
Well, and I love too that, we've seen some of these where, the Lumbering Falls you talked about, where there's a lot of similarities, and you get that it's a different art style and maybe a different view on the same thing. Here, they're very different, but still very cool. That one on the left, I do love thinking about space and how vast it is, and you look at this and you're like, how big is this thing? Is this tiny? Is it huge? But either way, it's intimidatingly weird.
Good.
Which is great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Excellent.
All right, we've got, where are we? We got 2 more of these. Okay. So we've got Stirring Wildwood next.
Wow. Yeah. And then again, this is another artist on the right that we signed up, Herka. So forgive me, it was a little while ago that we worked on these. So Herka was another new artist that got signed up for the set. This was a really fun back and forth again with like too much like a creature, not enough like a creature, like really like kind of tweaking. And I adore the the palette of the clouds in the background, this like beautiful like rose gold, like it's so aspirational, it's so glamorous, and that's one of the planets in the set that has these like strips that encircle it that I think they're solar panels.
Okay.
This is an answer I should know, but again, I know how to make the pretty things. I don't remember the science. And then Erica's Pearl on the left with this like grasping, almost Seussian hand.
It very much depicts reach for sure.
Yeah.
Reaching for the ships flying by.
Yeah, such an incredible composition where you have like so much of the left side kind of taken up by the base of this thing, and then all of the empty sky on the right, and then using that bright planet to completely perfectly like silhouette the hand, so you see it, and both ships being there, like that's some really masterful composition work there.
All right. Our last one of these from the bonus sheet, we have Wandering Funeral. That one on the left is so cool.
Yeah, that's a volcanic moon belching hot sulfurous gases, and I guess those gases are making up that. I don't know what a fumarole is. Do you?
Oh, it's just what you described.
Yes,
it's,
gassing.
It's
belches,
the vents through which the gases and lava escape. Yeah.
You really sound like you know what you're talking about.
I sort of do. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, and then the poster version, we just have like such a great planetscape, you know, with weird shaped rocks that look like they've been, you know, affected by like the kind of wind that we don't understand on Earth. And then you have this like creature again that like, is it just another rock? Is it some kind of lizardy guy? Yeah, Sam Chivers, which is fun because Sam Chivers did the first, the piece that we looked at first, the Grove of the Burn Willows.
Yeah.
And then we're finishing with him. He did like 4 or 5 pieces in the set. My favorite one of his is Cascading Cataracts, if anybody wants to look that up. He got really into like the space luminosity, which is one of the things about this set that shocked me, honestly, is that you would think that if we're in space, everything would be dark. Yeah. But like, there's just so much bright color.
There are. When you look at nebulas and stars and planets slowly disintegrating in the background. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. All right, so that is everything from the bonus sheet, but we also still have special guests, and these special guests are quite special. We're going to start with the one you've already seen, which is Sliver Hivelord. So why don't you start by telling us about this style and what we're evoking here?
Yeah. So the special guests give us a chance to really like get into some weird stuff.
Yeah, this is weird stuff.
Limited number.
Yeah.
And we know that going in, it's going to be a very limited number of cards. So these kind of cards, creating these, are really labor intensive with everybody that is involved. It's hard for the editors because everything is moved around and they're just like, how do I even approach this? It's sometimes we can find illustrators that can do graphic design and illustration, but that's pretty challenging. Yeah. That's, again, like that double skill set. So a lot of times we'll have more than one person kind of touching these. We'll have a graphic designer that will do all the layout, and then we'll have the artist that paints it. This is James Balsama. He's kind of a fairly newish magic artist, and his whole thing is his goal is to paint in the style of like alpha, original magic art. Okay. Which is a really interesting kind of, we're going really full circle and meta on this. Yep. But he was super excited, who wouldn't be, to get to paint a sliver, because they're the weirdest, strangest, most unsettling. I even, like last week, was listening to someone in the team next to mine who I just heard them out of nowhere being like, I don't like slivers.
And they were fired immediately because
no, it's just like one of those great things about magic. There's a lot of weird stuff in here.
There is a lot of weird stuff, but don't mess with slivers.
No, I think they're
great.
They're incredible. Yeah. So anyway, so this taps into the pulp, sci-fi pulp novels that kind of happened in the 60s, 70s, 50s.
The kind you go to a flea market and you find
now,
sitting
yeah.
there for 50 cents now.
Yeah. And we went all in, like we added the distressing to make them look like an old book cover. We added a lot of like little graphic details around the edges. Like you'll see some of them have stuff that look like scratched off price tags, stuff like that, because we just really wanted them to feel like that book cover.
Yeah. Like discovering that book at a used bookstore.
Yeah.
And,
Or even sometimes like there was like a bunch of magazines called like Amazing Stories and stuff. And that was another thing we used as a guide because that helped us with the graphic design of it. Because they would be a magazine that would have like, this story, that story, all these little like teasers on the covers.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot with that. James nailed it with the color palette on this one. I love those like acidy green mountains in the background. Yeah, just weird creatures.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the weird creatures. Isn't quite it's almost a transition here. It's pretty close to transition because this one's not a creature, but it covers some weird creatures. So our next card is Warping Whale, which certainly has a weird creature on the front of it. So this one has some of those additional touches that you were talking about, like the 50 cents on the right side. And what else do you see in here?
I love how the word instant is treated. Like that kind of looks like, it could have been the publisher name or something like that. This one, this creature, his whole deal is that his screaming, disgusting mouth is like causing pain to this poor astronaut trapped in its, hand tentacles, because he has
tentacle thing.
He has like suction cups on the end of his fingers.
Hand tentacle. I think it's a hand tentacle. That works.
Yeah, and like the weird head tentacles. Yeah, I like to imagine what kind of horrific noise is coming out of that thing's mouth. And then you got like this kind of suggestion of like a spaceship around it, because when these covers, the originals that we were kind of riffing on for these, like they were done so fast and they were by artists that probably weren't paid that much money. So, all the details in the like subject matter and then the background kind of fades away. And we encourage the artists to do that, to like give it that extra feel. And that the type on the title is it's got like horror, it's got like unsettling, it's like jagged, like the sound of the creatures coming out of the creature's
whale,
mouth.
Yeah. Well, I love that they differentiate on each of these. Like, let's take a look at Deafening Silence, which is kind of the opposite.
Right? Yeah, this is a pretty upsetting image. This poor astronaut. Is she escaping? Is she watching her home destroyed? Is she
now floating in space all by herself? Yeah, no, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
I've never been to space, and that's one of my nightmares. Yeah.
But what a good setup for like you could see the book right there, right? That it starts with her maybe floating away from this, and she's just, what happens? How long is she going to spend in the silence? Maybe the whole book is just a dream that she has in the 5 minutes before she doesn't make it. But I love also the detail in the arms, like the puffy arms. That to me is very like, got that kind of 70s tech vibe to it. And the color of her helmet, the acid green again. Yeah, it's a really fun one.
I don't recognize the name, so is Skinny Elbows someone we've worked with before?
Skinny Elbows, I think, has done a couple here and there. It's an artist we like to work with because they are really good with retro style illustrations in particular. Like that look, you can see, I think part of what makes it is her facial expression.
Yep.
There's so much like melodrama.
It's straight out of one of those books.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, let's take a look at Robe of Stars.
Yeah, this is another artist, Stephen Andrade, that we work with when we have retro particular art needs, because he can really nail that. I love so much the cloak that is the stars. I love like her headpiece was totally Stephen's idea. Her earrings, so fun. I think the spacesuit, I think maybe I suggested the silver lightning bolts on the spacesuit. Maybe, because I'm kind of obsessed with like old space, retro future space fashion. But it's just like a beautiful, it's one of those moments that like while the other ones were like creepy and strange and unsettling, like this has this like beautiful flow to it and it kind of takes it into more of a romance magic feel
Yeah, I was
to
going
it.
to say it's got a different, we've seen a couple that were all very action sequency, and then this one's a bit more mystical and exploratory and cosmic.
She looks kind of like a space witch, which is exciting.
Yeah. All right, next up, let's see, Nexus of Fate.
Yeah, Gabaleps is an artist that works on a lot of range of magic stuff. I met him in Vegas recently in the Artist Alley, which I encourage everyone to go to a Magic Con, go meet your favorite artists. They're going to be so happy to meet you. And Gabaleps paints artist proofs in oils.
Oh, wow.
Which I still don't understand how that's possible, but he's figured out how to do it. He is just, his ability to paint in luminous color is just astonishing. So we love to work with him whenever we get a chance. And the like composition of this with that like trailed cable that's still going to the ship, and the way that the word instant is like tucked in there is really fun. Yeah, and the yellow of the type at the top.
Yeah, with the offset with the pink. And
Yeah. Pink, I think, for me, pink is a really important retro color to use. I like using pink a lot. I encourage all the artists to use it as much as possible.
Well, I have no idea if this next piece has pink in it, but we're going to look at Paradox Haze. A little.
We just did a little duet there.
This is, so you talked about the little touches to make it feel like a book or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is one I noticed earlier that was so cool, is the little $3.99 price sticker in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah. This is a really, this space explorer is like, the idea here is she's like maybe found some ship or some space station, and then she finds her own clone, like in the tube, which is a great, really pulpy story idea. Like, what's going to happen when does she wake her up? Does she wake up and like, the one hand come out and grab her by the throat kind of situation? So that could go anywhere.
Or it turns out she's the clone.
I love how how the type says enchant player with an exclamation point, even though the type line at the top is still like, says enchantment aura, you're safe, you know what the card does. This is a really fun one too.
All right, let's take a look at Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, this vibe is very different, but very cool.
Yeah. This is an artist in Poland, Wojciech Lebski, who is a total overachiever and will send so many sketches and so many different finished versions for us to choose from, which I find very difficult because they're all fantastic. But for me, seeing the brain in the glass dome was like an instant moment of like, yeah, we need to have that on a card. It's so weird, and the way he uses light, everything looks so like kind of like sculpty clay looking, which is very like retro, and this like bizarro robot design that kind of looks like a lampshade. Because I think that for a lot of like when people were designing aliens, like decades and decades ago, so much of it, the imagination of it was based on like seeing like TV shows and like what were they making their aliens out of? They were humans in a suit with like the rings around their arms, and maybe they took a lampshade and spray painted it black. I don't know. So I love that like a lot of the aliens and monsters in this series kind of look like that, look like humans in suits, as opposed to like, we know now, or we've like had the benefit now of years of like creature design in movies and CG and all that kind of stuff that made cool stuff. And I also love that their weapons kind of look like staplers.
They do a little bit. It's got that old sci-fi like found around the office sort of thing. Like we don't have a big budget for this, so I don't know. Color the stapler green. and hold it weird.
Yeah. And I love so much that black mana symbol looks like
On the helmet.
on his helmet. Yeah, he's the Black Mana Brigade. Yeah.
All right, we got 3 special guests left, and they are all pretty strong cards in their own right. Let's take a look at Magus of the Moon.
Yes. So that's Sammy in the foreground, one of our main characters in the set. And this is like so pulpy, like this like space wizard with half of his face. I don't know if it's like exactly like melted. Oh, he has an evil goatee. And his face is like kind of distorted, and then he's supposed to be pointing menacingly. That was part of the art description for this.
Point menacingly.
Yeah, yeah, and I love that like Sammy is like straining against binds and like screaming like no, like don't, my home, or my favorite green planet. Yeah, there's a lot of story in this illustration.
Yeah, and he's clearly doing something to the moon. Turn it red. Very on brand.
Yeah. Would you read this book, do you think?
I probably would read this book. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. That wizard looks dastardly.
I want to know what's happening to the moon. Like, what's he doing to the moon?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's turning it into a mountain. That's what we know. All right. Next up, 2 of these left. They are both green cards, as it so happens, because we're going in Wooburg order. Next up, we have Burgeoning.
Yeah, love this piece. So fun. We had so much fun, like putting all kinds of people in space, not just, white men, because that's probably what the majority of the pulp original covers in the 70s were. She was so fun to design and to like encourage the artist to like imagine in her spacesuit, and like it's so fun making up plants.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of weird plants on our own planet, but taking it into the space of imagination and not worrying about what really exists gives a lot of room for interesting weird shapes.
Well, and I love another one of those touches is it looks like the cover's creased in a couple areas.
Yeah, the color on this one is really great. Again, that like bright, like unpleasant green mixes with the pink and the red in a really cool way. It's like really bright, really shocking. Like I feel like if you saw this on a shelf in a bookstore, it would really like kind of jump out at you. Yeah.
All right, and our final preview card for the day, Green Sun Zenith. Someone in chat got it right. And we've got this powerful green tutor with something going on in the background there.
Well, it's a giant green alien tentacle monster. Blake.
Obviously.
Yeah. Just a good one to end on. Giant green tentacle monster. Yeah. And this poor guy in the foreground, a civilian soldier fleeing, and look, his like buddies in the back.
They're done for.
Yeah, they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is screaming. That thing, look, it's like wrapped around their spaceship. Like these guys are toast. They just have no chance. But maybe they'll survive. I don't know. That's the story, I guess. That sorcery type at the top is really fun too.
Right at the top, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it looks like the title again of a book, Green Sun Zenith.
Yeah, got that nice gradient in there, makes you think about the sun. When we do these covers like this, these cards that look like this, we always ask the artist to draw their own custom mana symbols, which is an interesting kind of challenge because we're like, we really want you to interpret it so it feels special and feels like really custom for this one card. But then also we got to make sure that they look enough like mana symbols so that players know what, we can't go crazy with it.
Yep. All right, that is our final preview card for the day. That is everything from the bonus sheet and the special guests. We do have a few minutes if anyone has questions for Sarah about the art, about the process, about any of that. Try to tag @Magic. It helps me find it in chat as we're going along. Few reminders as we get those going. Previews are continuing for Edge of Eternities through this Friday when the full card image gallery is going to go up. So there's still a couple days of that. The ambassadors, as we said at the beginning of the show, once we get to that full card image gallery, they're going to start posting their amazing stuff. So check that out starting Friday. And all of the treatments that we just showed you can be found in all booster types. The exceptions are these Galaxy foil versions here that are going to be found in collector boosters. So, as for questions, okay, so I'm going to ask this question, but they kind of answered it on their own, and maybe you can talk a little bit about the
Well, don't tell me
topic.
what they answered, and we'll see who's right.
Well, we've talked about this publicly. So, so it says, why isn't Darkmoor salvage here? Was it because Darkmoor is a named place? And I think we talked about that a bit. That all of these lands needed to be a thing that could be in space. Like we couldn't do Urborg. So, what was? Were you involved in the selection process?
No,
or you're just
no.
Okay.
That's smarter people than me. Yep.
Not smarter, just differently focused.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are there going to be more special guest cards with unique frames and looks in future sets, or is this a special event for this set?
Can I answer that?
I mean, special guests kind of get special treatments each time.
Yeah, yeah. We've got some planned.
We've got things planned.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what kind of goes back and forth, but yeah, we've got some planned. We'll say that.
Let's see. So, without getting too much into future stuff, with the current direction towards classic Magic art, can we expect more retro-inspired cards, especially using retro frame in the future?
I will say that we love a chance to do that. So we're always looking for the right moment in a set to use some retro frames, to go with some OG classic Magic artists. Like a lot of them still work. Mark Tedin, Dan Fraser, like there's a bunch of Magic artists from the early days that are still working all the time. But we're also always looking for those moments because it's so fun. It's fun to sign up new artists and bring new artists into the fold. It's fun to like reach out to people who are known for like classic card art and bring them back for new stuff. Like the beauty, like I said before, Magic is like a big pool. So there's room for everybody to make some splashes.
No, as someone who is a big fan of the retro stuff, I'll keep advocating. I got you.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any info on what is pre-banned on Arena formats? So for those who don't know, the special guests, the bonus sheet, those are all coming to Arena for this set, which is fantastic. Sometimes some of those cards are very powerful and get pre-banned in certain formats. We have not announced that yet, so I don't have that information here. But stay tuned on Arena social channels and the weekly blog for more information on that. Let's see. Any more upcoming Spacey Universes Beyond Secret Layers? Maybe. Let's see. What is your, and you may not be able to answer this, but what is your favorite piece of art from the bonus sheet? Mine has got to be the new Ancient Tomb.
Mine could be, there's a piece by Serena Malian. Oh, I can't remember what the card ended up being called because the name changed like 3 times during dev. But it's one of the surreal space pieces. And it's like kind of a female figure laying backwards and it's surrounded by all these swirling pink clouds. And it's such a stunner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone in chat will figure that out.
Thank you.
I'm a big fan of the poster Raging Ravine, and then the non-poster Shambling Vent. The face and it just With Ice Till Explorer and Strip Mine in the same set, you can lock people in limited. Was there concern over this? It's not going to happen very often. So Ice Till Explorer, for those who didn't catch it, is a card that lets you play both extra lands and lands from your graveyard. And then Strip Mine, of course, is Strip Mine. Strip Mine is not going to show up very frequently in drafts. And then Ice Till Explorer is itself a rare. Getting those together is going to be real infrequent. It'll happen. Someone somewhere will have a really good story, and their opponent will not feel great about it, but you know what? They'll have a really good story. It's not going to happen very often, I think, is the answer there. So it's not like they have to design the limited format around it. When will we know more about the 2026 set releases, MagicCon Atlanta? Here is a great question to end on. What's the process for becoming an artist for Magic, and what's the best way to get involved?
Well, we have an email address on our website right now where you can submit portfolios, which is a great thing to do. That's reviewed and looked at by art directors and our art manager team. Gosh, what's the best process? You know,
I know in the past you all have done portfolio reviews at MagicCon.
We do.
Is there going to be another one at Atlanta?
Yeah,
okay.
we did. We do them. We're doing them more now. A bunch of different art directors will come, and then again, that's like a separate submission than the general portfolio email.
Yep.
So those are good ways to do it. You know, otherwise, working on your own, I'd say, you know, like make fan art of things you're passionate about and interpret it in your own way. That's a really great way. You know, being a magic artist is really tough. You've got to be able to do like human figures and creatures and animals and complex backgrounds. It's a lot, and it honestly shocks me that there are so many people that are capable of it because it's so difficult and it takes so much time to get that good.
Yeah.
But anybody can do it if they put in the time.
Fantastic. We're going to end on that. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us and walking through all this amazing art. Again, Edge of Eternities, the full card image gallery is up this Friday. Pre-releases start a week after that. And the full set releases globally on August 1st. We're going to be back here next week opening up products. We're going to open up Edge of Eternities product like we always do on pre-release week, so you can get a look at the various different boosters and types and figure out what you want to pick up at your local game store on pre-release weekend. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.